June is also known as Pride Month. It's a time to reflect on how far the LGBT community has come with fighting for their human rights and acceptance. San Francisco's iconic celebration draws partygoers from around the world, but it wasn't always so festive. At the inception, the marches looked more like what we are seeing today, with the protests demanding racial equality. Here to talk about the significance of this month is Terry Beswick, the executive director of the GLBT Historical Society in San Francisco. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Ella.
So can you tell us more about how June became Pride Month and where it all started?
Sure. Well, it all started in 1969 at the Stonewall Inn in Manhattan. Uh, uh, People who were going to the bar there were being harassed by police, and they finally got fed up and they fought back. And there were several days of riots actually in Manhattan as the protesters warred against the police. So that's how it all started, and that was 51 years ago. On the first anniversary, we had celebrations commemorating that event 50 years ago. So that's how it all began.
And Pride festivities in recent years have been some of the best parties that I've ever been to. Lots of music, dancing, fun, fashion that comes with it. But can you tell us about the evolution of the marches? I know that they were more solemn at the inception, when really this cause was at the forefront and paved the way for people and the generations to come.
Sure. Well, from the beginning, it was a riot and it was a protest. But on the first anniversary, when we had the first Pride events here in San Francisco, it was actually called Christopher Street West, which was the name of the street that Stonewall was on in Manhattan. And we had a march down Polk Street, which used to be a very gay neighborhood in San Francisco, and also an event in Golden Gate Park, which was called a Gay Inn, and which is kind of a play on the Bee Inn, that they used to have in the 60s. And, there were hippies and there were fairies and there were a lot of, trans people. Like at Stonewall, this event has been extremely diverse from the beginning, and has really just celebrated our fight for our rights. And it has become more of a celebration of the achievements that we have made in our progress towards full equality.
And the queer community has come a long way, especially here in San Francisco. But the fight for equal rights continues in many parts of the state, the country, and around the world. So can you tell us about how Pride Month helps that cause?
Sure. Well, particularly at this moment in history, I really think about how the LGBTQ community is extremely diverse. We're of every race and every nationality, every gender, and we really come together. And what brings us together is our differences around sexual orientation and gender. But we are a full spectrum community, and so we really have to think about how we're connected and how we have to support those who are most oppressed by our culture and our society. And I'm thinking in particular of putting forward the message of Black Lives Matter. I think that that's the most important message that we have to unify around during this Pride season.
Well, thank you so much to Terry Beswick, Executive Director of the GLBT Historical Society in San Francisco, and talking to us about all the generations that have brought us to where we are today and the work that we still have ahead of us.
Thank you all for having me. Happy Pride.
You too. You're watching Chron On, the Bay Area streaming news 24/7.